Korean literature. The body of writings produced by Koreans, initially in classical Chinese, then in different transcription schemes employing Chinese characters, and eventually in Hangul. Important writers. First is Wan Su Park. Many of her books focus on the trauma of war, particularly how it impacts family relations. The first book she published was called Namok, which means the naked tree. Second is Wang Sokyong. First published work titled The Pagoda, which was released in 1970. He released another landmark book called The Shadow of Arms in 1985. His books parallel his work as a political activist. Third is Yang Hakim, popular author from Korea who is known for popular detective stories. Most popular is Whatever Happened to the Guy Stuck in the Elevator. Lastly is Oh Jung-hee. Her works depict a world that is incredibly grim and bleak, where there is just about no hope of redemption. In many of her books, her characters view death as a relief from the trials and tribulations of the living world. Forms and genres. First is poetry. In performances, traditional Korean poetry is frequently sung. Much of Korean poetry was composed in Hanja and later Hangul up to the 20th century. Four major traditional poetic forms. First is Yanga or native songs. This is the oldest poetic form. Poems transcribed in the Yangchal system dating from the middle period of the unified Silya dynasty to the early period of the Koryo dynasty. It is written in 4, 8, or 10 lines. The 10-line form comprising 2 4-line stanzas and a concluding 2-line stanza was the most popular. Second is Pyolgok or Changa. It is characterized by a refrain either in the middle or at the end of each stanza. The refrain establishes a mood or tone that carries the melody and spirit of the poem or links a poem composed of discrete parts with differing contents. Love, joys, and torments are the themes, of which are expressed in frank and powerful language. It is sung to musical accompaniments, chiefly by women entertainers, known as kiseng. Third is Sijo, the longest enduring and most popular form of Korean poetry. It is primarily a poetic form of the Joseon dynasty. 3-line poems in which each line has 14 to 16 syllables and the total number of syllables seldom exceeds 45. Each line consists of a group of 4 syllables. Fourth and last is Kasa. It is developed at about the same time as the Sijo. It tends to be much longer than other forms of Korean poetry and is usually written in balanced couplets. The history of this is divided into 2 periods, the division being marked by the Japanese invasion. Prose. It is divided into narratives, fiction, and literary miscellany. Narratives include myths, legends, and folktales found in the written records. Fiction can be classified in various ways. First, there is fiction written in Chinese and that written in Korean. Second, there are the short works of 1 volume, medium works about 10 volumes, and long works of more than 10 volumes. Literary miscellany consists of random jottings by the young Ban on 4 broad topics: history, biography, autobiography, and poetic criticism. Oral literature includes all texts that were orally transmitted from generation to generation. Literary events. Korean literature as seen through the eyes of Asian translators. This event was organized to commemorate the one-year anniversary of Bucheon's designation as a UNESCO Creative City of Literature and promote greater cultural exchange of Korean literature. Pearl S. Bach International Academic Symposium explores the life and literature of Pearl S. Bach. It is successfully held the 2018 Bucheon Pearl S. Bach International Academic Symposium on October 31 under the theme of the life and literature of Pearl S. Bach. This year's event was attended by up to 500 local residents and Pearl S. Bach researchers from Korea and abroad, including professors, literary figures, and critics.